Taking a brief break from his Twitter fight with George Papadopoulos, Malcolm Nance joins us now. Good morning, Malcolm Nance.
Are we doing your show? Because I was writing another tweet.
What is up with this? OMG.
Well, George Papadopoulos has decided that he wants to work for Fox News. He is jumping neck deep into he was railroaded, it's all a conspiracy, and that Christopher Steele and the Steele dossier was all lies. This man pled guilty to lying to the FBI about his contacts with Russian intelligence officers and Russian intelligence assets in meetings he had with what we now know is Russian intelligence. He got off with a slap of the wrist, 2 weeks, but he is a convicted felon.
Yeah.
I do not want convicted felons. When they step up to me, all I'm going to say is you're a convicted felon.
Yep.
That's it. I got nothing more to say to you.
I loved your just convicted felon says what? Hashtag lame Snowden.
Yesterday it was enjoy prison. Hashtag enjoy prison, lame Snowden.
Yes, you said clarification. I'm an ex-U.S. intelligence professional who was first to warn the nation of your treacherous plot well before the election. You're a convicted felon who gladly betrayed the nation with Russian intelligence and lied about it to the FBI. Hashtag enjoy Persian, hashtag lame Snowden. So he says today truly saddens me to see frauds like Malcolm Nance attempt to use their quote-unquote credentials as quote-unquote former intel officers whose profession is dependent on obfuscating facts and disinformation to continue to promote false narratives to Americans they themselves have been the origin of. So I guess everyone that's written a book and done films about this already, they're all in on the conspiracy about Russia, I suppose?
This guy would already have a 6-figure or 7-figure book deal if he had just said, what I did was wrong. I'm going to tell you, the American people, what I told Bob Mueller and the investigatory team, and here's my story of how Russian intelligence tried to co-opt me. That would be a great, compelling story. But he's decided that he's going to be, he's going to take the tack of Julian Assange and right-wingers, and he wants to get on the Greg Jarrett, everything about the Russian investigation is a hoax book trail.
Yeah.
And he thinks that Reginary Book is going to hand him money. This guy worked with Mueller, and despite what, his 2-week prison sentence, he is a convicted felon.
Right.
I don't know what state he's in, but he may not ever be able to vote again. He definitely will not be able to own a firearm again. And he can't fly outside the United States to other countries without telling him he's a convicted felon. I mean, I don't get this guy.
Yeah.
And now he just thinks, you know what? I only got a couple of thousand followers. Maybe if I attack Malcolm Nance, I will get, maybe Fox News will be on my side.
Yeah.
And he's got these guys, Jack Posobiec, right?
Yeah.
The man who created Pizzagate. That's who he's carbon copying, and some other Yahoo who is pro-Iran and works for Russia today.
Right.
Or is a commentator for Russia.
And meanwhile, Malcolm, once again, bombshell after bombshell. I don't know what to say about the New York Times, and that, now, of course, we're getting this full reporting, right, on the Alpha Bank and the server and Trump Tower communicating about Betsy DeVos's connection. I mean, it must.
We've been talking about that since October 2016.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those now you tell me, now you warn me moments.
Right.
And they did that. They did that a few weeks ago, where they were nice enough to write up a summary of the plot to hack America. My big book, and 2 years later, after they had written an article saying no information relevant to the Russia probe has no relevant information or to the Trump campaign, 2 years later. So why are they doing all of these postscripts? And I wonder if they're just trying to keep up with history so that they can say, hey, well, we actually covered that, or it's another journalist who thinks he's going to write and sell his book next year.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's talk about this Rick Gates one. So, who has also, of course, pled guilty, right? Is talking to Mueller. This sought proposals from an Israeli company in 2016 to create fake online identities in an effort to aid Trump's campaign. New York Times reporting. He solicited plans to use social media manipulation and gather intelligence to help Trump defeat his opponents in the Republican primary and then Hillary in the general. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just more like that they clearly were willing to take help from any foreign power to interfere in our elections, right?
Well, absolutely. And I've been saying this for 2 years. This is an octopus. There are multiple tentacles of where they accepted assistance from, who they were soliciting, where they were putting out bids, the papers that they were taking it from. You have the Russian Internet Research Agency. That's one tentacle. You have Cambridge Analytica. That's the second tentacle. You had the attacks on Clinton staffers from Black Cube, an Israeli counterintelligence firm. That's another one. And this one you're talking about with Rick Gates is Psy Group. Psy Group is a group of former special operations intelligence people from the Israeli army who had been working very closely with the United Arab Emirates government. And Rick Gates was given a proposal from Psy Group to do precisely what Cambridge Analytica and the Internet Research Agency were doing, which was make up false Americans, false personas, thousands upon thousands of false Twitter, Facebook feeds, and then send out focused and targeted messages supporting Donald Trump and attacking Hillary Clinton. And in this case, they didn't get the contract. But we don't know whether there was a bigger contract, whether there was a secret contract, because another person who figures highly in this game, a guy by the name of George Nader, who is a facilitator for Sheikh Mohammed and Sheikh Khalid in the UAE. That's the crown prince and the chief of intelligence in the UAE. And he paid Psy Group $2 million for unspecified services. He
Yeah.
was also tagged by the FBI earlier this year, arrested as he was entering the United States, and I guess he turned state's evidence. So we don't know the depth of the involvement of all of these Israeli firms, but we do know they're involved. And when it gets right down to it, Mueller's going to have something to say about it because he had already subpoenaed the CEO, Joel Zamel, of this company, another group that he formed called WikiStrat
Yeah.
here in the United States. And Joel Zamel and his staff were investigated by a joint FBI Israeli police task force, which seized their computers in Israel. So again, we only know a tiny piece of this iceberg.
Right.
Mueller knows it all.
Well, now and obviously people have said, they feel like Mueller probably is not doing anything now, given the proximity to the election. Is that your take that
No.
there may be a big bomb after the election, the midterms?
No, I'm going to fall back on the Rachel Maddow saying, right? If anyone tells you anything is going on in the Mueller investigation, they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Mueller does, these hundreds of FBI officers, 17 capital prosecutors, criminal fraud prosecutors, are not saying, oh, well, it's September 5th. Let's just take off for the next 2 months. They are investigating. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were new indictments against Russian intelligence, indictments against the bridge organizations like Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. Roger Stone's overdue. We're going to see him at Politicon next week, I think.
Yep.
So we should ask him
Yep.
if he's got his jammies ready. And his prison jammies.
Malcolm.
And, yeah.
Okay, let me get, because I know we're running short here, but are you concerned about Russian interference in the midterms? I mean, and I say this, I always say that the fact that you're urging people to vote so strongly means that it is going to count. That they're not, because that's what someone on the air yesterday said, oh, it's already rigged. And I said, don't buy into that, because that's what they're hoping is people are going to go, oh, they're going to steal it anyway. Russia's going to, affect the election again. Go ahead.
Anybody that says that says it's already rigged, don't bother. You are voting for Trump, or you're working for Trump. Right. All right? You got to cut that out. And I'm seeing a lot of it on my Twitter feed. Don't protest. Don't march. They'll attack us. No, that is obfuscation. We need to blow the voting margins out to where any cheating whatsoever will just be blown away by the vote margin. Every individual needs to get out. I just spent the last week in Paris, in London, The groups over there, votefromabroad.org and democratsabroad.org, are out doing massive voter drives. I stood in front of Shakespeare and Company the other day, and was the celebrity pulling in the Americans until Ethan Hawke walked by us and didn't say a thing. Right?
Sorry.
So Ethan Hawke should be out there helping us register voters. But we had 17 in the first hour.
That's great.
Americans and we had an app where you could register right there online. So and here's the worst part: university kids are not registering.
Right.
And it was on MSNBC yesterday, where the kids at UCLA, I think it was, or USC, were just like,
Irvine.
we're not. UC Irvine, even worse. None of them wanted to vote. And then, what did the one guy say? What are they doing in Congress for you? School things. Drag them to vote. Have a pizza party. Promise a beer party for the first.
A Kavanaugh party.
See, if you and I were parents together, you'd be good cop and I'd be bad cop. I'm more about threatening to cut their avocado toast budget, and you're all about the carrot. I'm all about the stick.
Oh no, I got some carrots too. I got some sticks to go around. But really, if anything is going to happen, and this is where Clint Watts and I are both in agreement now. I've been saying it for almost 9 months. They are going to counter hack, which means that they are going to attack possibly voter tallies, but make it in the favor of Democrats so that Republicans call to nullify this election.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to blow this thing out. We need to turn out higher than the 2016 presidential election.
Yep.
This could literally be the last free and fair election you are participating in.
Yep. And Malcolm, I keep saying, don't listen to any polls or pundits. Of course, the latest one, everyone's saying Democrats are up by 13 points on the generic congressional ballot. Are you okay?
Yeah. What was that? I'm fine.
But again, don't get happy. Don't go, we're up.
No.
I mean, thing.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not. We haven't seen the Kavanaugh bounce out of Republicans.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, let me tell you, these guys are talking jihad. They think that now they've got the momentum, and they believe that they can win this thing and blow us out both in the House and the Senate. And the only way the proof is in the pudding is if you show up, or as I keep encouraging people, if you can vote right now today, vote today.
Yeah,
Go and get your early voting ballot. Get your absentee ballot if you're not going to be there. Those are paper, and those will be really counted.
That's what Carlos wanted to ask you about that, about people having concern about voting by mail or absentee, and the concern that it will be counted.
Yeah, well, it's a good concern there, Carlos, but it's paper.
Yeah.
It's physical. It's harder to do fraud with something that's tactile. When it's just something where you don't punch a hole through a punch card, or you do an e-vote, right, on a machine.
Yeah.
Those things, it's very hard to actually hack them, but that doesn't mean that your voter tally at the state level is not going to be hacked.
Yeah.
But you've got to get out and physically do it.
Right.
And no matter come rain or shine, everybody needs to take the 6th of November as a day off.
Yes,
national
holiday.
Day of holiday, and get in there, and then take people around and save this democracy.
Yep, and March.
A lot of protests out there too.
Yeah. Right, and March 3rd is the March for Democracy. Wear blue, right?
November 3rd.
Yeah, November 3rd.
Here's the March to Save Democracy in a nutshell, right? Which Armand Fernandez and I announced about a couple of weeks ago. Wear blue.
Yep.
On the 3rd of November. I say wear blue for 72. Wear it from the 3rd till Election Day to show you stand for what this nation was born on, and you will not allow it to go down without a fight. We want to do, Russians hate the idea. They told Trump, beware of a color revolution. And this is it. That color is blue. So if you're going out and doing voter registration with Move On or Indivisible, or you're just going out and doing your shopping, wear blue. You are the protest to save democracy.
Well, so Malcolm, and because you said you've been seeing that on Twitter, how do you answer that when people go, we've already marched, we just need to vote, we need to canvass, we need to get out? Explain why you feel like it's important to do the March to Save Democracy on November 3rd.
I say because you got to jump into this one with both feet. And if you'll come out on a Saturday the morning or go to Whole Foods to get your avocado toast or whatever it is, and you're wearing blue, you're sending a message right there. We want other people to see. We want every person who ever voted for Hillary Clinton or who's disappointed in their past vote, we want them to see other Americans wearing blue on that day as a sign of national solidarity. You do that, you show protest, you will vote on the 6th. And we'll see each other. I'm gonna be driving around Philadelphia. There's several different marches. Most of these marches are right at their cafe or their street corner. And we ask people to do is get together, form your own group or be your own march, put your dog in a blue t-shirt and go get a latte, and that counts.
Yep. And speaking of former Republicans, conservative former Max Boot said, vote straight ticket Democratic Party. The GOP needs to be razed to the ground. Yep. And that's for people that believe in their Republican Party as well.
Max Boot and Jennifer Rubin these last few days have been on just complete burn it to the ground. This is no longer conservatism. These are not Republicans. You guys know I used to be a Republican. Then I started listening to them and listening to Stephanie Miller and realized, man, I am like way to the left now.
I'm way too cool to be a Republican.
Yes, but I got to tell you another thing, man. Somebody needs to get on to Dan Savage, maybe you, and have we used to have this thing in the military where if your partner didn't agree with you on politics, there was a way to punish that person, right?
Yeah.
You just got to withhold certain services.
I just had Mika Brzezinski on. I totally give her credit for, saying if you ever want sex again, Joe, you're not a Republican. If you're still a Republican, you're going to be celibate as well. All right, Malcolm.
Tammy Duckworth in 2020.
Yeah, Tammy Duckworth.
2020.
There you go. All right, love you, Malcolm. See you soon.
I'll see you next week in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's right, Politicon. Okay.
I'll be there on the 17th.
All right, see you here. See you in studio.
All
right, love you.
Bye.
All right, 51 minutes after the hour. That's right, the 21st. I'll let you know. I'm doing a panel at Politicon on Sunday, right? October 21st. Get it. We'll be right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.